The 2023 NFL season is just around the corner, and fans have already started their fantasy football drafts. So let's take a look at the top 5 quarterbacks to target for that perfect team. Starting with Patrick Mahomes.
As long and tried to make a diving tip, and Mahomes who tiptoes inside the 10, still knocked out. Oh, what a run! Out of this world!
This man needs no introduction. He's basically a football superstar. I mean, he's won the Super Bowl not once, but twice. Plus, he's also been named as the MVP for the Super Bowl twice and won the best player in the NFL a couple of times. Not to mention, he's been picked for the Pro Bowl 5 times. Seriously, he's a big deal in the NFL. He's got several awards, and I could go on and on about them. Speaking of fantasy football, he rocked the league in 2022. Honestly, everyone saw it coming, right? But you'd be surprised to know that this was the first time he snatched that top spot since 2018. Yep, in 2020 and 2021, he finishes the 4th best quarterback overall. And in 2019, he was 8th because he missed a couple of games. But he totally turned things around in 2022. Sure, he finished at the top spot the first week, but what's even more impressive is that he remained consistent and finished in the top 6 except for 2 weeks. The point here is that Patrick has always been consistent at his game.
The scariest guy that you're like, when he's on, he's red hot, boom. I would have to go Pat Mahomes.
He's good almost every week, and he might just win you some weeks all on his own. Besides this, you know he's going to get things done because of the amazing coaching staff. After all, Andy Reid is one of the best coaches of our generation. And with Matt Nagy back in action as the offensive coordinator, you can bet that Patrick and the Chiefs are going to keep terrifying teams, as they've been doing for a while now. Well, just like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen was made for fantasy football.
Allen stepping up and now floating it downfield, and Diggs is behind the secondary. Stumbles, but brings it in. Buffalo touchdown.
Okay, I know he might not be topping all the real-world NFL rankings because Mahomes and Joe Burrow are ahead of him. But when it comes to the fantasy circles, Allen is a star. So if you're playing a traditional fantasy football with just one quarterback, get ready to see him drafted early in round 2. Well, if your league's all about 2 quarterbacks or a fancy super flex spot, then Allen's your round 1 hero. Talking about heroes, the Bills are gearing up for a tough schedule in 2023. Frankly speaking, it doesn't look like a big deal for Josh. He's going to be in the spotlight, leading the charge in every game as they defend their division crown against some fierce rivals. What's more, he might even walk away with the NFL MVP title at the end of 2023. So for the Bills to shine, they need Allen to keep delivering as one of the best NFL quarterbacks out there.
Josh Allen, he's scary.
He's going to make the plays down the field. He's going to make every throw, and he made very good decisions.
You see, winning the MVP would pretty much seal the deal on all fronts. Now, coming to the stats, I'm seeing him hitting around 5,085 plus passing yards this season, which is like 299 air yards per game. With that said, the good news is that he's back in action after that UCL injury from the previous season, so you can anticipate an even bigger comeback in terms of efficiency from him. Now, some people think that Allen's rushing numbers might take a hit, but hold on, I don't think it's going to be a massive drop. After all, his running's been acting as magic to turn his team's future around. Like, he's been running like a champion, with at least 122 carries per season for 772 yards and 6 touchdowns in the past couple of years. Moving on, let's shift focus to Jalen Hurts, who's been making waves in fantasy football lately. Seriously, 2022 was his best season so far.
2nd and goal, design run again to the outside. Hurts trying to get there, and he's in for the touchdown.
In his full season as a starter, he threw for 3,701 yards and 22 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions. Impressive, right? And you know what? The real magic comes from his insane running game. Trust me, this man's like a lightning bolt on the field, rushing for a whopping 760 yards and scoring 13 touchdowns. Let me tell you that these numbers add to a fantasy feast of 378 points in standard scoring, which is like 25.2 points every game. Besides this, he's tied a single-season franchise record with 35 total touchdowns, just like the great Randall Cunningham before him. Now, looking ahead to the 2023 season, you might be wondering whether he can top his previous best. Believe it or not, he totally can. Hurts played a major role in the Eagles' Super Bowl run, and he even grabbed the 2nd spot in the MVP voting. And guess what? The stars are aligning for him to keep that success rolling. With that said, you just can't ignore the impressive crew around him. Like, he's got some great teammates, like A.J. Brown, who set an Eagles record for receiving yardage, And how can I forget Devontae Smith? He broke the record for the most receptions by a wide receiver in the same time frame. The best thing is that both of them are back in 2023. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Quez Watkins had a bit of a rough patch in his third NFL season, dealing with a shoulder injury, but in 2023 he's coming back stronger. What's more, it's a contract year for him, so you know he's going to give it his all. Clearly, that's a very scary-looking defense lineup out there. No wonder the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl last year, and if everything stays the same, you can bet that Hurts is going to have another MVP-level season. Well, there's another quarterback who will probably get drafted early in the first round. I'm talking about Joe Burrow, the ultimate star of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Falcon defense, now Burrow off the play fake, he's going to let one fly. Oh, he's got him wide open, and strolling in for the touchdown is Tyler Boyd.
It's safe to say that he's one of the best QBs in football right now, and his last killer season just proves it. I mean, he led the Bengals to the AFC Championship game, and even though they couldn't defeat the Kansas City Chiefs, Joe still showed that he was the best at his game. And in the season before that, he almost took them to the Super Bowl. And if you take a look at the 2023 season, he led the Bengals to a solid 12-4 record in the regular season.
Joe Shiesty. Joe, that's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch play.
One of the best quarterbacks in the league. Got a great team. He carrying a good team.
Now he's facing a serious issue, as he suffered a right calf strain in training camp. It's likely that he'll miss a few weeks, but don't worry too much, because he'll definitely be seen in week 1. Speaking of fantasy football, he's easily a top 5 fantasy quarterback with an average of 26.3 points per game in the 2022 season. In your regular PPR drafts, you'll probably be seeing Joe going anywhere from the 3rd to 5th rounds. Now, if you're playing in a 2-quarterback league, don't be surprised if he's a first-round pick. All right, let me talk about his crew. You know he has one of the best receivers around, no joke. Like, his solid connection with Lamar Chase has always resulted in miracles. Sure, the Bengals have a great running back in Joe Mixon, but they're all about the passing game with Burrow at the front. Plus, they're a top-tier team, which means Burrow's fantasy stats are going to be off the charts. Unlike Joe, Lamar Jackson's journey has been a wild roller coaster ride.
3rd down 2. It's Jackson. Oh my gosh, here he goes. He'll sprint. He's being chased by Howard. Looking behind. You can kiss him goodbye. Touchdown.
Back in 2019, he burst onto the scene and became the second player ever to be unanimous MVP in NFL history. Guess what? He was just 22 at that time. There's no doubt that he's got talent, but when it comes to staying healthy, that's where he's got some issues. Over the past 2 years, he's missed a total of 10 games. In that time, he's thrown for 5,124 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 20 interceptions. Now, where he really shines is on the ground. Yep, he's covered a whopping 1,500 yards and grabbed 5 touchdowns there. With that said, the player's got a solid defense line that'll protect him from several attacks.
He's crazy when it comes to football. I mean, Lamar can do it all, man.
Most elusive player in the NFL right now.
You see, his playing style is a bit risky, so the chances of him getting hurt again are high. Besides this, his receiving squad's also a bit questionable. First up, there's Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, he used to be amazing, but honestly, I'm not sure if he still got that magic. Then there's Zay Flowers, a rookie with loads of potential, but how much is he going to pull off in his first year? Oh, and let's not forget Mark Andrews, the star tight end. This man's ready to play and could be a game changer. With him in action, defenses just can't focus on shutting him down, which is going to make the Ravens' offense, especially Jackson's stats, shine even brighter. When it comes to fantasy football, he's a dynamo, with several weapons and a solid strategy to air it out. Passing touchdowns will be aplenty. I know, achieving his 2019 MVP level form might sound like a bit of a stretch, but he's getting closer to that powerhouse performance than you'd ever expect. So if you're going to have him in fantasy, he could easily be the MVP of your team. Still, keep in mind that he might get injured, and the whole fantasy lineup will crumble down. So there you have it. These are the top 5 QBs to target in fantasy football.